Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Before we get started on our L Word retro review of episode 5 of season 2, do have a very small Generation Q update from the woman herself, Jennifer Beals, who, as we know, plays Bet and also is an executive producer on Generation Q. Jennifer Beals was replying to some tweets and some questions from fans, and I'll put the tweet on the screen now so that you guys can see exactly what she said. But basically, she's saying that they are hoping that the L Word is going to go back to filming sometime in the fall. And she did say this pretty recently, and if you did watch my Return of Generation Q update video, link it up in the cards above just in case you guys haven't seen it. I kind of worked out the weeks that it will probably take to film the 10 episode season by how long it took to film last season that had 8 episodes and everything, and it worked out, in my opinion, that it's going to take about 20 weeks. And last year when Generation Q premiered, they had about a month between wrapping the entire season and the premiere in December. So the best guess being if they start filming in September, by the time, also keep in mind that because they will be filming from fall, it will go into Christmas time and they will obviously be off for probably a couple of weeks, like most shows do. They shut down for the Christmas and New Year's period. So if they go in September, we would probably be looking at the show coming back anytime around the beginning of March. But if they wait until November to go back, then we're probably looking more at the show coming out in about May time. Again, in my Generation Q update video, I was saying that I personally think that the show might come back about March, April. That's when the original show always used to premiere on Showtime, so we could be looking at that again. Because shows generally, they don't show a lot of new shows over the summertime because summer and most people aren't sitting at home watching TV. I mean, I'm talking about Northern Hemisphere summer, obviously. Personally, I think that they would either premiere the show in March, April, or they'll hang on to it until the end of August, September. And of course, I mean 2021, so that is the utmost hope. I would really, really love to see the show back before then, but obviously people's health and protection comes first. I will of course keep my eyes and ears peeled and look out for any other information, and you guys will be the first to know if I do see anything else. So on to our review of season 2, episode 5 of the episode titled Labyrinth. This episode is one of my favorite episodes from season 2. I think it's because so much happens and it feels like this episode happens over like a month, but really it's a few days that everything happens. In this episode, I'm kind of clumping people into groups like I generally do with Bet and Tina, because most people stay with their group the whole episode. For example, Shane, Jenny, Mark, and Carmen. Jenny and Shane are obviously dealing with Mark, their new roommate, and we, the viewers, are privy to more information than Jenny and Shane. And obviously, I think it's kind of a unanimous feeling of every fan of the L Word that Mark and his friend Gomi are the biggest creeps going. This is the episode where they do install all the secret cameras, even in the bedrooms. So that just is a creepy feeling. And when I first watched the show when I was younger, I remember always thinking, why would they put this Mark character in? Like, I used to feel like he didn't really serve a purpose, but now, older, wiser, and I think more jaded about the world, there is so many people in the world like Mark. Like, even the conversation that Shane, Jenny, and Mark have towards the beginning of the episode when Mark's telling them about this new project they want to do, and Mark is kind of saying to Jenny and Shane like, oh, how do lesbians sleep together and all these things. And people do have this strange feeling that they do have a right just because you're gay to ask you these things. Like, can you imagine going up to a straight person and being like, I would like to know exactly what you do in the bedroom, who's doing what, diagrams. I would like to be able to ask questions. It's just so strange to me, and I've been asked, I couldn't even tell you how many times, inappropriate questions. I mean, people that are complete strangers and they think that just because they know this little information about you that you're gay. I think that it's not as prevalent as it was back when the show came out. It's definitely something that I think people have realized is inappropriate. And I also think, obviously, because it's a lot more accepted, it's a lot more open, people are more likely to know someone who's gay. And I just feel like in general, I would like to hope people aren't asking those sort of questions anymore, but there's always idiots out there, so. And you would like to think that most people nowadays probably know someone that's gay. Like, there's that joke that like everyone has a gay sibling, and or if you don't have a gay sibling, you have a cousin or someone. Like, there's, in most families there is a gay person, or you have a gay person in your friendship group. And whenever these things are happening, like people are debating gay marriage is legal and all these things, you would like to think that they're using the example of their own life. Like, how would you like someone to treat your gay sister or your gay cousin? And it is really interesting to me because yesterday was the anniversary of the absolutely horrible event in Orlando. I used to actually go to Pulse nightclub all the time when I was in university and when I lived in Tampa, and it was just one of the most upsetting and horrible things. And I haven't looked into a huge amount of detail on what happened yesterday, but there was some significant rollbacks on rights and healthcare and trans healthcare, and it's just absolutely disgusting that this is going on. I don't like to get too political. I know we're all here for the L word and a good time, but I have mentioned on the channel before that I went to school and sat with every day and debated with in class the current US press secretary, and she knew me, knew my girlfriend, knew that I was gay. Like, you know, we're still friendly on social media and all that. And I just always, when things like that happen, I always think like, you know me, like, you know a gay person who you like and who you got on with, and when you're supporting these horrible things, do you not ever think about the people it's affecting? So I know I'm going on off on a bit of a tangent here. Again, I don't like to get, you know, too political on here, but I think pretty much everyone who's probably watching my content is a supporter of LGBTQ rights. So the biggest power that you have is your power to vote. So make sure that in November you're voting for people that will support your rights as an LGBTQ member of the US. And obviously I'm just speaking about the US because that's what happened yesterday, and the fact that it happened on the anniversary of Pulse 2, it was just disgusting, pretty much. As I was saying, a lot of things happen in this episode, and Dana and Alice finally give in to the build-up that's been happening over the past 5 episodes and in the season 1 season finale, and they end up hooking up while Tanya and her parents are out. And I think it's so funny when they come back and Alice has her hands in the bachelorette thing and she's still got the handcuff on, and when Tanya and her parents walk away, they're like trying to get the handcuffs undone. Dana and Tanya also do have their bachelorette party at the Planet, and they have like strippers and things, and Tanya's mom is really like thinking it's fun and enjoying it, and Dana's mom, I don't think I've ever seen someone look so uncomfortable. It's pretty funny, but she does give a nice speech, and while she's giving the speech about how she sees how Dana's found love and she accepts her and Tanya, especially after she reacted so badly to Dana coming out, and Alice comes in at that time, and she's just like looking really down and defeated and worried. And Alice has a great line when they're at the bachelorette party and her and Bet are sort of sitting there, and Bet's like torturing herself looking at Tina, and Alice is torturing herself looking at Dana. And Alice is like, okay, we gotta stop torturing ourselves, let's go. And onto my personal favorite, Bet and Tina. Most of the episode really does focus on them, which is probably why I like the episode. And at the very beginning, we have Tina showing back up at Bet's house after the whole thing with Joyce Wishnia last episode. Tina says, you know, she's going to stay here until she finds somewhere permanent. And we also have some great Bet moments in this episode that are really famous, like exactly to James. And I see that used, that little gif, all the time. And she also has the fuck moment where she like throws the phone, and it's just one of those like great moments that it's used in so many videos all the time of like Bet Porter swearing and things. We have Tina try and tell Bet that she's pregnant, and when Bet comes home, she kind of takes over the conversation, and Tina decides not to tell her. And they're also both going through trying to get a Peabody grant. And when the names are announced, Tina ends up getting for her organization that does like a lot of charity work with kids and social care, and Tina ends up getting the biggest grant of $100,000, and Bet ends up getting nothing. And the CAC has relied on the Peabody grant for a really long time, so Bet is furious, and Tina phones Bet, obviously realizing that Bet hasn't got one, like her, you know, her name in the CAC isn't on the list, and Bet takes it very badly. You know, she's really cold to Tina, and after she's realized her mistake, she ends up going to Tina's office and brings flowers. But Helena Peabody has showed up with the TV crew and stuff, because obviously they've given a huge amount of money to them, and Bet and Helena have their first kind of head-to-head over Tina. And that is when Helena accidentally, well, not so accidentally, tells Bet that Tina is pregnant. And honestly, Bet, like, you can partially blame yourself because it's pretty obvious. Bet then goes to try and find Shane, which I always think it's just like Shane and Bet just have the best friendship. Like I've mentioned tons of time, Bet, Shane and Alice were like the absolute perfect choices for Generation Q, because they are the main friendship. Like on the show, everybody else is kind of a partner and brought in by someone else, but they're like the main core of the group. Shane isn't there, so Jenny and Bet do have like a nice little conversation, because they don't have a huge amount of scenes throughout the entire show, and especially in later seasons, like Bet absolutely hates Jenny. Tina ends up bringing Helena as her date to Dana and Tanya's bachelorette party, and Bet is obviously absolutely furious. It does not go down well, and they have another little, you know, fiery confrontation. Bet gives a speech where she is obviously directing it at Tina, and we end the episode with everyone pretty much a little bit of a wreck, because Tina and Helena, Bet is destroyed, Dana and Tanya, Alice is destroyed, Carmen and Jenny, Shane is destroyed, and Mark has secret cameras on everyone. Overall, as I said in the beginning, I really like this episode. I really love the introduction of like Helena and Bet kind of vying over Tina. Obviously, I hated Helena at the time whenever it was going on, and saw her as, you know, in between Tina and Bet, but I did really grow to like the character a lot. Bet just makes some really terrible mistakes in this episode. I mean, the whole not seeing what's right in front of her because she's wrapped up in herself, and then the reaction to Tina getting the Peabody is just, you know, but at least she's trying to apologize, and, you know, she's not going to give up on Tina. So really looking forward to watching the next episode too. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.